Hi and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at all the areas that need repair on the front of the chassis on my Rover P4 and both the near side and offside outer bulkhead areas that also need some repair. The repairs are needed because of corrosion to some of the areas and areas that have been very badly repaired, and I'll show you that in a short while. And also at the end of the video I'll be telling you what I am probably planning to do, which seems a logical step to me, but will certainly involve a lot more work. But I think it's going to be worthwhile in the end. So without further ado, we'll start with looking at the chassis and then we'll go into the bodywork areas. Okay, let's start off by looking at the front of the chassis and this cross member here. Now you can get a replacement cross member at about £200 or so, but I don't think this is far enough gone to be unrepairable. So I'll show you the underneath here and just show you what needs doing. And if we have a look at the underside of this cross member here, you can see that there is perforation there. Now I think that a repair panel should be sufficient to repair that, because the surrounding metal seems quite substantial to me, and it should be a decent repair. Now if we look at the near side front part of the chassis here and under here, that is where most of the repair work needs to be done, because as you can see here, I'll just zoom in a bit. As you can see here, it's totally rotten, and what should be there is the support for the bumper iron, which is this, and as you can see that's totally disintegrated, and I need to manufacture a new one of these, which shouldn't be too difficult. But also just below there, that is the mounting point for the anti-roll bar, and that needs to be removed and a new one manufactured. So I should be able to do that without too much problem. Now if I take you off the tripod and just show you underneath, you'll get an idea of the extent of the corrosion underneath here. As you can see, there's quite an area missing from the chassis, but I think I could manufacture a repair panel for that, and also, as I said, manufacture a new anti-roll bar mount. So that is as far as the extent of the damage on this side of the chassis goes, apart from an area on top of the chassis here which someone has repaired with some mesh and epoxy. Now who would repair a chassis like that? I don't know. It's, to me it just beggars belief that people will do these sort of things. It probably takes more time to do this than to actually weld in a new repair section. So, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, because this is solid metal here. This bracket here will need to come off and be replaced, but that's no real hardship. So yes, that's the major part of the repairs that are needed to this side. I've shown you the centre section, and now if we go over to the other side, we'll have a look to see what needs doing there. So on this side, it's pretty good, to be honest, and I think one of the main reasons for that is the engine oil, or oil leakage from the engine, because as you can see on this side, you can see the original black paint, which is still adhering to the chassis there. But there are a few tiny areas. Now, if if I just zoom in a little bit, you can see there's a hole there. Now that can be cleaned up and probably re-welded as it is, but there is some corrosion just in there, if you can see. I'll show you from the underneath actually, it's probably easier to see. Actually you can see it in there, can't you? But from underneath, we have that part that needs a repair panel, so I'll just cut a little bit out and replace that, but also in this bumper support bracket here. So in order to repair the part that is covered, oops, so in order to repair that part of the chassis in here, I'll need to remove this bumper iron support bracket. So again, I might be able to get away with reusing this, but failing that, it's going to be fairly easy to manufacture another one. So really that's one either side that needs to be replaced. Well, that's it for the front of the chassis. So now we'll have a look at the offside and near side outer bulkhead areas, and we'll start off with the near side. Okay, so the near side outer bulkhead area, it looks pretty ugly, to be honest, doesn't it? So where should we start? Let's start with the outer splash panel, or the splash panel. That needs to be removed. Excuse me. That needs to be removed and replaced. And oh yeah, now remember that part of the chassis that was repaired with epoxy? Well, this has been repaired as well, as you can see, with more metal in, more epoxy on the outside. There's a soft, well, it's under seal obviously, and the whole of this area was covered in under seal to hide the bodgery. So that's not too bad to replace, it's fairly straightforward. And at the bottom there, this is just a cover panel that's been put over corroded panels, and as you can see, it's corroded all the way up here, and that is going into the car. So what am I going to do about this area? Well, the metal is solid up here and it gets a little bit crusty here. So what I plan to do is cut out the bad bits, probably not all in one panel, but I'll replace that. And down here, I'll probably make a repair panel for this area here, trying to maintain this strengthening indent to make it look as much factory as I can. So yeah, it looks bad, but I think it looks worse than it actually is, because it is obviously repairable. And actually on both sides, this corner here has corroded, and I'll probably put another area in there, just a small section. So with that said, let's have a look at the offside. Actually, there is another part that needs repairing on this side, and just see what you think about this. Right at the bottom of this hinge cover here, someone has repaired it, or attempted to repair it, in a manner that should come with some sort of prison sentence, I think, but there you go. And it's just a bent piece of metal that has been not welded or anything like that, but stuck on with filler, and you can still see some of the filler in there. There you go, big chunks of filler. So this needs to be repaired as well. I dare say there's more filler up here, but that needs a bit more investigation. So, yep, mind boggles. Anyway, so let's go and have a look at the offside. Okay, and this is the offside outer bulkhead area. This has actually had a new splash panel put in, but I'll show you in a minute, it hasn't been put in very well, I don't think. Anyway, I'll put you on the tripod and I'll show you the different areas, because I need 2 hands to do that. So just one moment. Okay, if we look at the bottom area of this panel, again, like the other side, this is reasonably solid. At the bottom, obviously, it's crusty and rusted through, but someone attempted to repair this, and if you remember the last thing I showed you on the other side, and there is also a cover panel over the rust on the inside, yeah, but this one was covered with this piece of metal, and as you can see, it was covered in there. Now, this was actually pop riveted to the remaining rusty panel that was down here. As you can see on the back there, that's a rusty bit there, and you can see the pop rivets to hold it on. It was also pop riveted up here, just there, and then there's a couple of tack welds there, and then it was welded along there and all the way down. So I've cut that out, and that's what it was covering. So again, why do that when you could just repair it properly in the first place? Yeah, I know why, but there you go. So if I just zoom out a little bit, and just move up here. Now here, again, we have got a piece of steel that's been welded in to the bulkhead and the splash panel. Now this definitely covers more rot. Not extensive, but it's perforated from about here down a little bit. Now I'll cut in a small video of the inside, and you can see that it's just covering corrosion. As you can clearly see that this is inside the car, obviously, and we're looking at the part of the bulkhead that repair panel covers, and you can clearly see the repair panel showing through the corroded metal. So, as I say, that's not going to be a difficult area to repair, to be honest. But again, why repair something like this in the first place? I know it's ease and to make a quick buck, but and this work, by the way, was done by a so-called professional garage. I've got the receipts, but there you go. So again, I'm going to cut this cover plate out and replace it with a proper repair, like cutting in small repair panels and making it strong again. Now, I did say at the beginning of looking at this side that this is a new splash panel, but it certainly hasn't been repaired properly, because if we look on the inside, we can see, if you can see there, there's absolutely no weld at all holding that in position. There's just a gap all the way down, and the only reason it's been held in is because of that weld there. So not the best job in the world at all. And again, like the other corner here, there's some damage there, corrosion and perforation at the top there, so that just needs a small section welded in. Okay, well that sort of shows you the repairs that need to be done to the outer bulkhead areas and the chassis, and I'll be getting onto that work very soon, and I'll be covering it in a series of upcoming videos, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. But as I said right at the start of the video, it's been going through my mind that I need to go a little bit further with this, because if I'm repairing this and repairing the other parts that need doing and making them all look good, then I really need to go a little bit further, and that is what I'm considering at the moment, because the chassis will need proper painting, and in order to get to all of the areas that I need to get to, then I think the suspension components need to come off. And if I'm doing that, I might as well remove the engine as well. Why? Well, again, to make access easier, and also another fact is that I've got what appear to be leaks on the engine at various points which need to be looked at. So that's not going to stop me repairing these areas, but I'm just deciding whether to just get into taking all the suspension components off first before cracking on with those jobs. But that's probably for the next video. So the next time a video appears, it'll be either repairing some of this work or removing the suspension components. So thanks for watching. I hope you've stayed with me till the end. So again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and there'll be lots more coming soon. Bye.